Hi there, in this lesson I'm going to introduce you to something called the Eisenhower matrix that helps you to schedule your tasks so you know which order you're going to do them in. So in terms of planning your tasks, you may well have a great big long list of tasks and you might not know exactly when, in what order you need to do these. So this is where the Eisenhower matrix comes in. It's named after Dwight Eisenhower, and what he did was he said that you should order things by importance and urgency. So these are two things. You can rate your each task on a scale of importance and of urgency. And when you do that, you can create a grid like this. So on a set of axes, increasing from vertically from bottom to top is increasing importance, and from left to right, increasing urgency. So over there on the top right, these are tasks that are important and urgent. These are tasks that you need to do quickly, now, first, before you do anything else. On the top left, these are tasks that are important but not urgent. These are things that you can schedule for later. They don't need to be done right now, but they do need to be done. So you schedule them for later. On the bottom right, you have tasks that are urgent but not important. So they need to be done right now, but it's not a big deal. Actually, somebody else can do this. You're too busy. You've got tasks in the top right corner, tasks that you must do that are important and urgent. Tasks that are important but not urgent, you can't do, but somebody else must do them. Delegate them to somebody else. And then in the bottom left corner, you have tasks that are not urgent and not important. These are tasks that just fill up everybody's day. These are tasks that you have got to be strong with, and you have to delete them. If they're not urgent and they're not important, you shouldn't be doing them at all, and nobody should be doing them. You've got to learn to say no. And that's a difficult thing to do, particularly when you're working from home. If your boss is giving you tasks to do and you realise this is not urgent and it's not important, you need to try to persuade him that you shouldn't be doing it, that you've got to drop this because there are other things that's far more important and urgent, and you're just simply not going to get to these tasks. There's always going to be something that's important and urgent, more important and more urgent than these other tasks that are not important and not urgent. You need to learn to cut these out of your schedule altogether. Cut them out, just don't do them. Okay, so this is the simplest form of an Eisenhower matrix. It's just there are 4 levels on it, and it helps you to decide how to prioritize your tasks, which tasks to do, which to schedule, which to delegate, and which to delete altogether. But you can have it more complicated than this, because there is a tendency to say that I've got lots of important tasks and lots of urgent tasks, and they're all important and they're all urgent, and you get a whole load of things in your top right quadrant in the do part. And so you haven't managed to schedule them at all, because everything's important and urgent. No, it's not. Some are more important and urgent than others. If you find that you're getting too many tasks in the do quadrant, then you need to be a bit more specific about your Eisenhower matrix. And instead of having a 2x2 grid, you can have a bigger grid. So this is our basic 2x2 grid here, and what you can do is you can split it up into a 10x10 grid like this. 10x10 is not necessarily the best way of doing it, because you've got to have 10 ratings of important. of importance. So you have something up at the top which is absolutely critical, and then your next one is slightly less critical, and the next one down is really important but it's not completely critical, and so on, all the way down to the 10th one down. And in terms of urgency, basically this is a time scale. It's a timetable. How quickly does something need to be done? You can order things along the bottom there according to a date and a time. So you can order those with quite some granularity. In terms of importance, it might not be so easy to do it in 10 chunks. You might do it in 4 or 6 or whatever it is. But I've put a 10 by 10 matrix on the top here of our Eisenhower matrix, and then what you do is for every task that you have to do, you label it with a certain level of importance and a certain level of urgency, and then you plot them on this graph. And once you've plotted them on this graph, you can then check them and have a look at all of these points and all of your tasks, and it becomes really, really easy to see what you're going to do and in what order. So here, task 7 is our most important and urgent. It's quite clear what it is, and then the next one is task number 3. That's the next most important and urgent. After that, you've got tasks 2 and 5, whichever way around you decide you're going to do these two. Probably number 2. Number 2 is further away from the origin than number 5, so number 2 is probably a little bit more important to do, or maybe the urgency of number 5 overrides the importance of number 2, whichever way around you do it, but it helps you to make these really, really important decisions, and then you can get those tasks that you can delegate, and task number 4 and 6 and task number 1 and 8, you're not going to do them. They're not important and not urgent. You're just going to get rid of them altogether. You're not going to do them. So by having using the Eisenhower matrix and having as much granularity in your labeling as you feel you need, you can find a way to list all of your tasks in the order of importance and urgency, so that you know exactly which order you're going to do your tasks in. Really, really powerful matrix, this, and I really do urge you to put all your tasks, when you've got a goal, you break it down into all your tasks and your subtasks, and you're not sure what order you're going to do these in. This is it, Eisenhower matrix. This is what's going to get you a list, and then the thing that goes at the top of your list is the first thing that you do, and then the second thing is the second thing you do, and so on and so forth. Okay, the next lesson we're going to do is the final part of our planning.